Hi everyone, I am Kelsey Farrar. This is my final multimodal project and my complex issue, which I have been talking about and researching about all semester. It has been the problem of water pollution and what that looks like around Cincinnati, Ohio. When creating this presentation, I am in a position of a student researcher, and I have been going through separate ways and making sure that things are running smoothly with this project and coming together as something that Miami would be proud to present. When discussing water pollution, there are many different aspects to what water pollution looks like in the first place and the different kinds of water pollution. The different kinds can range from groundwater pollution to chemicals to surface water or sewage, and this should be cared about and have an emphasis of importance because this thing called water is essential to all different types of living life. This is something that we all need and should want to take care of, and this has gotten very bad over decades, and we are trying to come together to make sure that environments and different types of life also have access to clean drinking water. And there are groups and people trying to push for this sense of safety in the environment to make sure that we are coming together and not trying to make the environment worse for where we are headed in the future. Now, what can be done about water pollution it can come down to cleaning up your area and making it better than when you arrived. This also can come down to not being, I wouldn't say this in a bad sense, but being respectful, because it can come subconsciously, but making sure that you aren't being intentional. And when it comes to throwing stuff away and picking up after yourself can be immensely important to having those little moments add up and making sure that the people you are around, with the third point on this slide, is making sure that others know and have that information and education that there isn't an immediate fix, but it starts with us as individuals and trying to protect the health of our home and of our city. And this is going to continue to change over time as long as people are still caring and want to care. Now, a big purpose of this presentation is we, as in me presenting this presentation, are trying to reach the residents or locals surrounding the Ohio River, because they are subjected to care about the land that their homes live on from these images above, and what goes on with how the water is costing or what it looks like for the environment or landscape around their house being maintained. And these pictures show that there are immediate homes in residential areas that are surrounding this river, and it's very important to try to keep up on and make sure that things are looking right. This connects to an image of the Ohio River, and it just shows that there is mostly environmental debris that's coming from different trees, and you can see and pick out that in the pictures that there are individual pieces of garbage and things that should have just been thrown away or picked up, and that comes down to the people that are living here to make sure that we're not putting things in the water that shouldn't already be there. I know that this can be hard depending on the type of people that we are with, and trying to make yourself an advocate for the environment, which is not on everybody's radar, but some sort of being respectful of the area of you are around should be on everybody's radar. Now, this turns into receiving help from the Ohio Environmental Council, the EOC. I found that they are also a great part of the audience, or who we are trying to interact with and collaborate with, because they are here to help and assist us. They are wanting to establish goals and create ways that this type of government isn't getting lost within the cracks, and making sure that the land that is there is surviving, even though it might not be popular land or touristy land, but it's still part of what should matter, and things should be looked at and taken care of, and this council does a great job of that. This next slide, this talks about the Ohio Environmental Council water team, and it goes from the agriculture and water manager, which is Miss Kelly. This goes to the vice president of programs, which is Miss Houston, the senior attorney of land and water, Mr. Johnson, and drinking water manager and events organizer is Miss Roca or Raka. I wanted to add this because this puts a name to the face that there's actual people who are out there working and trying to provide a better space for people to understand that water pollution is something that needs to be looked at, and what we can do to help or limit that. How we can become more involved is nonprofit organizations that allow you to volunteer. This goes into educating yourself and educating others, and making sure that we are taking care of what we have, and making sure that others are passing that information along to make sure that others are also spreading the word. You can also be an advocate for the environment, for water, for the land around the water, for the homes, for the wildlife. But it comes down to having something that we all need for life, which is water, and that comes down to not putting things into the water. And yeah. The importance of this slide is showing that the Ohio River Foundation is here to help with the restoration process, and making sure that others are able to come and volunteer to help with cleanup, like I mentioned, restoration, and collaborating with other people and creating other ideas to make this foundation stronger and more effective. They are able to help create opportunities and restore areas all along the Ohio River, and they are gaining new volunteers and opportunities every single day. This image is a flyer about a festival that was able to make an appearance this summer, a couple weeks ago, and they were able to get people involved, understanding about the foundation, and making sure that they know that this foundation is here, they're active, and they want to get people noticing them while they are taking flight in this realm of pollution itself. This flyer also, this is a social media post, but it also shows that there has been breaking news, that they have been working to get a plan set in motion, and they are just very happy as a foundation to show that there are things we can do about water pollution, and we are getting action, and we are doing things to get things done. And I think that is amazing, to try to shut down a narrative that things aren't going to get better, but they want to try and find different ways that they are able to collaborate, especially with different outside organizations, especially the Ohio River Foundation, and mentioned before, the Ohio Environmental Council. They're able to collaborate and especially go over legal regimens and what it means to do certain things. They're able to work together when creating solutions. Now, when talking about what to do or the solutions for water pollution, it can get a little dicey, because there has been a lot of different ways to go about this, but trying to, as an individual or group of people, limit cleanup and waste production. I think trying to figure out where everything has a spot and going from there can benefit you immensely. It also comes down to corporations to understand that there is life in this water and not dumping toxins or chemicals, and making sure that things are being ran and tested, that this is a part of the earth that should be clean, not necessarily filtered, but this is something that wildlife and the environment needs to live off of, if that's plants or animals. I think that the conclusion of this presentation shows you that you need to be an advocate for you, or not just for you, but also for other people, and also animals and plants. They are also here to eat and drink, and we need to collaborate with that understanding to show that we are here to provide not necessarily closure, but a way to provide safety and peace in a way that's not just full of harmful or hazardous items and things that aren't going to help us. Lastly, this is my reference slide, and if there are any questions, please let me know, and thank you so much for listening.